Let me tell you something about real love, because a lot of people out here confused. They think love is what you say. They think love is how you feel. They think love is those big words you post online, but real love don't hide. Real love shows up. When love is real, you don't have to guess. You don't have to decode messages. You don't have to sit there at night wondering where you stand, because effort speaks louder than promises ever will. See, people make time for what matters to them. If you matter, they'll call. If you matter, they'll check on you. If you matter, they'll show consistency. Love ain't confusing. People are. Now listen to me carefully. When someone truly loves you, they don't keep you on hold. They don't give you half effort and full excuses. They don't disappear when things get hard. Real love leans in, not out. A man or a woman who is serious about you will protect your heart. They won't play with your emotions. They won't make you beg for attention. Because when love is real, effort becomes natural, not forced. Let me help somebody today stop falling in love with words. Words are cheap. Anybody can talk. But effort costs something. It costs time. It costs energy. It costs sacrifice. And only people who truly care are willing to pay that price. When love is real, effort is visible. That's not a quote you hang on the wall just to sound deep. That's a truth you learn after life has had its turn with you. Because real love doesn't announce itself with big promises or sweet words. Real love shows up. It shows up when it's inconvenient. It shows up when it's uncomfortable. It shows up when nobody is watching and there's nothing to gain. Anybody can say, I love you, when things are easy. But love gets tested when life applies pressure. That's when effort becomes the language of truth. See, real love is intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. If someone truly loves you, you won't have to beg for their time, their attention, or their respect. They will make room for you. They will adjust their schedule. They will change habits. People protect what they value. They invest in what they believe matters. So when love is real, you can see it in the choices someone makes every single day. Not once in a while, not when they feel like it. Every day. Real love listens. Not the kind of listening where someone waits for their turn to talk, but listening where they are trying to understand your heart. When love is real, your feelings aren't dismissed, minimized, or mocked. Your pain matters. Your joy matters. Your voice matters. Effort looks like asking questions. It looks like remembering details. It looks like caring enough to notice when something is wrong, even when you don't say a word. Because love pays attention. And let me tell you something important. Excuses are not effort. If someone keeps telling you how busy they are, how tired they are, how stressed they are, but never finds time for you, that's not love struggling. That's priority speaking. We all make time for what we truly want. You don't forget what matters to you. You don't ignore what you value. So stop confusing potential with progress. Stop accepting words in place of action. Love is not what someone says they will do someday. Love is what they are doing right now. Real love is consistent. It doesn't disappear when things get hard. It doesn't show up only when it's convenient or beneficial. Consistency is effort repeated over time. Anyone can be kind once. Anyone can be supportive on a good day. But real love stays steady when moods change, when money gets tight, when misunderstandings happen. Love doesn't run at the first sign of difficulty. It leans in. It works through things. It fights for understanding instead of looking for an exit. Effort also shows up in respect. When love is real, there is no need to control, manipulate, or belittle. You don't tear down what you love. You don't embarrass it. You don't intentionally hurt it. Real love protects your dignity, even in moments of disagreement. It speaks with care, even when emotions are high. That kind of effort takes maturity. It takes self-control. And that's why real love is rare, because not everyone is willing to grow to that level. Sometimes the hardest lesson is realizing that wanting love doesn't mean you are receiving it. You can love someone deeply and still not be loved properly in return. And that's painful. But remember, this love should not leave you constantly confused. anxious, or questioning your worth. When love is real, you feel secure. You feel chosen. You feel considered. Not because everything is perfect, but because effort makes you feel safe. So don't ask people to prove their love with grand gestures. Watch how they show up when it matters. Watch how they treat you when they're tired, stressed, or upset. Watch how they respond when you need them, not when they need you. Because at the end of the day, love isn't a feeling you explain. It's an effort you can see. When love is real, effort is visible. And that truth doesn't come from books or quotes. It comes from experience. It comes from being disappointed by people who said all the right things, but never showed up. It comes from growing up and realizing that love is not about intensity drama or constant emotion. Love is about responsibility. It's about showing up even when your feelings are tired. Because real love understands something most people don't want to accept. Feelings change, but commitment is a decision. A lot of people confuse attraction with love. They think chemistry is enough. They think excitement is proof. But chemistry can disappear and excitement always fades. What stays is effort. Effort is what keeps a relationship alive when the butterflies are gone and real life steps in. Bills show up. Stress shows up. Family problems show up. And when those things arrive, only effort can carry love forward. If there's no effort, love doesn't grow. It dries up. When love is real, you don't have to chase it. You don't have to remind someone of your value. You don't have to compete for attention. Real love doesn't make you feel like an option. It makes you feel chosen. And being chosen isn't about words. It's about actions. It's about someone rearranging their life to include you, not squeezing you in when they have nothing else to do. If someone truly cares, you will feel their presence even when they're not physically there. Real love also takes accountability. When someone loves you for real, they don't run from their mistakes. They don't blame you for everything. They don't gaslight you into thinking your expectations are too high when you're only asking for basic respect. Effort looks like owning up to wrong behavior. It looks like apologizing without excuses. It looks like changing patterns, not just promising to do better next time. Because real love understands that words without change are empty. Let me tell you something that might hurt, but will set you free. If someone keeps hurting you in the same way, after you've clearly communicated your pain, that is not a misunderstanding. That is a decision. And love doesn't repeatedly choose to harm. Love doesn't ignore your tears. Love doesn't watch you struggle and do nothing. When love is real, effort moves toward healing, not damage. Effort also means growth. Real love pushes you to be better, not smaller. It doesn't demand that you lose yourself to keep the peace. It doesn't require silence to survive. When love is real, there is room for two whole people, not one person shrinking so the other can feel comfortable. Effort shows up in learning how to communicate better, how to be patient, how to understand each other's differences instead of using them as weapons. Some people say, if it's meant to be, it shouldn't be hard. That sounds good, but it's not true. Anything worth having requires work. Careers require work. Health requires work. Faith requires work. Love is no different. The difference is this: real love doesn't feel like a constant struggle to be valued. The work is mutual. The effort is shared. You're not carrying the relationship alone while someone else enjoys the benefits without contributing. When love is real, it shows up in the small things, remembering what matters to you, checking in on you without being asked, standing up for you when you're not in the room, being honest even when the truth is uncomfortable, protecting the relationship instead of entertaining distractions. These things don't go viral. They don't look dramatic, but they are powerful because they are consistent. At some point in life, you stop asking for intensity and start asking for peace. You stop wanting someone who excites you and start wanting someone who chooses you every day. That's maturity. That's wisdom. And that's when you finally understand that real love is not loud. It's steady. It doesn't confuse you. It doesn't drain you. It doesn't leave you guessing. When love is real, effort is visible, and you don't have to convince yourself of it. You can see it, feel it, and trust it. When love is real, effort is visible. And the moment you truly understand that, your standards begin to change. You stop accepting confusion as romance and inconsistency as passion. Real love does not keep you guessing. It does not make you feel insecure about where you stand. Love that is genuine creates clarity, not chaos. And that clarity comes from effort that is steady, intentional, and undeniable. Too many people fall in love with words. They fall in love with potential, with promises, with who someone says they will become someday. But love doesn't live in the future. Love lives in the present. It lives in what someone is doing right now. Anyone can talk about loyalty, but effort proves it. Anyone can say they care, but effort demonstrates it. When love is real, it shows up in behavior that aligns with those words, not just in moments of convenience, but in moments of sacrifice. Real love understands responsibility. It knows that loving someone means considering them before you make decisions. It means thinking about how your actions affect their heart. When love is real, people don't move recklessly. They don't entertain things that could jeopardize the relationship. They don't put themselves in situations where trust can be broken. Effort looks like self-discipline. It looks like boundaries. It looks like choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. Effort also means emotional availability. Real love doesn't shut down every time a difficult conversation needs to happen. It doesn't disappear when emotions get heavy. When love is real, there is space to talk, to disagree, to express pain without fear of abandonment. Effort shows up in staying present, even when the conversation is uncomfortable, because love that runs at the first sign of discomfort was never built to last. One of the clearest signs of real love is how someone responds when you are at your lowest. Anyone can celebrate you at your best. Anyone can enjoy your success, your happiness, your good days. But when you're tired, overwhelmed, or broken, effort becomes visible. Love shows up in patience instead of pressure, in support instead of judgment, in understanding instead of criticism. That kind of effort cannot be faked for long because it requires genuine care. Real love is not perfect, and effort does not mean getting everything right. Mistakes will happen. Words will be misused. Emotions will clash. But when love is real, effort shows up in repair. It shows up in making things right, not pretending nothing happened. It shows up in learning from mistakes instead of repeating them. Effort is the willingness to grow, to adjust, to do better. Not because you're forced to, but because you don't want to lose what matters. At some point, you have to stop explaining your worth to people who refuse to see it. If someone truly loves you, they won't require constant reminders of how to treat you. They won't need ultimatums to show care. Love that needs to be begged for is not love. It's tolerance. And tolerance will always fall short when life gets heavy. Real love doesn't make you fight to be included. It pulls you in naturally. Effort is also about protection. When love is real, your heart is handled with care. Your vulnerabilities are not used against you. Your secrets are not shared for entertainment. Your insecurities are not exploited. Love becomes a safe place, not a battlefield. That kind of safety doesn't come from words. It comes from consistent effort over time. As you grow, you start to value peace more than passion and consistency more than excitement. You realize that love is not about constant highs, but about stability, about knowing someone has your back even when the world feels uncertain. When love is real, effort is visible, not in grand gestures, but in everyday choices that say, you matter to me and I'm not going anywhere. When love is real, effort is visible, and this truth becomes clearer the more life teaches you what love is not. Real love is not confusion. It is not anxiety. It is not constantly wondering where you stand or why you feel alone in a relationship. Love that is genuine brings a sense of emotional safety, and that safety is built through consistent effort, not occasional attention or temporary affection. Many people believe love should always feel effortless, but that idea has ruined more relationships than it has saved. Love is not meant to be easy all the time. It is meant to be intentional. Effort means choosing your partner even on days when you are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. It means understanding that moods change, but commitment should not. When love is real, effort doesn't disappear when feelings fluctuate. Real love pays attention. It notices changes in your tone, your energy, your silence. It doesn't ignore you until you explode. It doesn't wait until things are broken beyond repair. Effort looks like checking and asking questions and caring enough to notice when something is off. When someone truly loves you, they don't need you to scream to be heard. They listen long before things fall apart. Effort also shows up in reliability. Real love does what it says it will do. It keeps its word. It follows through. It doesn't leave you hanging, wondering if promises will be broken again. Trust is built when effort is consistent, not when apologies are constant. Anyone can say sorry, but love proves itself by not repeating the same hurt over and over again. One of the most painful lessons in life is realizing that someone can care about you and still not be capable of loving you the way you deserve. Caring is not enough. Attraction is not enough. History is not enough. Love requires effort, maturity, and emotional responsibility. When those things are missing, you end up giving more than you receive, and that imbalance slowly drains you. Real love does not compete with your peace. It adds to it. It doesn't make you feel like you have to earn affection or perform to be valued. Effort looks like reassurance, not withdrawal. It looks like clarity, not mixed signals. When love is real, you don't feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid that one wrong move will push someone away. Effort also means standing with you, not just beside you. It means defending you when you're not present, supporting you when it's inconvenient, and choosing you even when other options exist. Loyalty is not just about avoiding betrayal. It's about being emotionally present and committed. Real love doesn't flirt with boundaries. It respects them. As time goes on, you learn to stop romanticizing struggle. You stop believing that love must hurt to be real. Pain is not proof of depth. Consistency is. Effort is. Love that is real does not leave you emotionally exhausted. It doesn't make you feel small or invisible. Instead, it strengthens you. It gives you room to breathe, grow, and be yourself. When love is real, you don't have to chase it, force it, or beg for it. You recognize it by how safe it feels, how steady it is, and how clearly effort shows up in everyday actions. And once you experience that kind of love, you never settle for anything less again. When love is real, effort is visible. And this becomes one of the most freeing truths you can accept in life. It frees you from overthinking every message, every silence, every change in tone. Real love does not require detective work. You don't have to analyze behavior or decode mixed signals. When someone truly loves you, their effort speaks clearly and consistently without leaving you emotionally exhausted. Real love shows up even when it's inconvenient. It doesn't disappear when life gets busy or stressful. Everyone gets tired. Everyone faces pressure. But effort is about choosing to stay connected despite those things. Love that is real makes room, not excuses. It finds a way to check in, to reassure, to stay present. When effort is missing, what you're experiencing isn't love struggling, it's love lacking. Effort also means emotional honesty. Real love does not hide behind silence or avoidance. It does not punish you by withdrawing affection. When love is real, difficult conversations are faced, not escaped. Effort shows up in communication, in the willingness to talk things through instead of letting resentment grow. Silence might feel easier in the moment, but love chooses clarity over comfort. One of the clearest signs of real love is how someone treats you when they are upset. Do they still respect you? Do they still care about your feelings? Effort is not about never getting angry. It's about how you handle that anger. Real love doesn't insult, belittle, or intentionally wound. It pauses. It reflects. It works toward understanding instead of trying to win. Real love also understands that effort must be mutual. One person cannot carry the entire relationship. If you are the only one initiating conversations, making plans, apologizing, and adjusting, something is unbalanced. Love is a partnership, not a performance. When effort is one-sided, exhaustion replaces joy. And love was never meant to feel like constant work done alone. Effort is visible in the way someone protects the relationship. Real love doesn't entertain distractions. It doesn't seek validation from places that could cause harm. It values trust and guards it carefully. Effort looks like transparency, loyalty, and boundaries that honor the connection. Love that is real does not play games with your heart. As you grow, you begin to realize that love is not about grand gestures or dramatic moments. It's about everyday consistency. It's about being there again and again, about choosing the same person on ordinary days, not just special ones. Real love is quiet but powerful. It doesn't need to prove itself loudly because its effort is steady. At some point, you stop chasing people and start choosing peace. You stop hoping someone will change and start valuing who shows up as they are. Real love doesn't make you feel replaceable. It doesn't leave you feeling unsure of your worth. When love is real, effort is visible in ways that calm your spirit and strengthen your heart. And once you experience that, you no longer settle for anything that asks you to accept less. When love is real, effort is visible. And this understanding usually comes after you've been disappointed enough times to recognize the difference between interest and intention. Interest fades when things get hard. Intention stays. Real love is intentional. It doesn't drift. It doesn't leave you guessing. It moves with purpose, and that purpose is shown through consistent effort, not occasional attention. Real love is present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It doesn't listen while scrolling on a phone. It doesn't nod while the heart is somewhere else. Effort looks like being engaged, like caring about what you're saying, even when the topic isn't exciting. When love is real, your thoughts are not treated as background noise. You are heard, valued, and considered. Effort also means patience. Real love understands that people grow at different speeds. It doesn't rush you, pressure you, or make you feel like a burden for needing time. When love is real, there is room to heal, to learn, to become better. Effort shows up in waiting, in encouraging, and in standing beside someone while they figure things out, not walking away the moment it becomes inconvenient. One of the strongest signs of real love is how someone handles your vulnerability. When you open up, real love doesn't use your past against you. It doesn't mock your fears or dismiss your pain. Effort is shown in gentleness, in protecting what you trusted them with. Love that is real makes you feel safe enough to be fully yourself without fear of judgment or betrayal. Real love also shows up in consistency during ordinary moments. Not just birthdays, not just emergencies, not just special occasions. Effort is in the everyday, in checking in remembering small details, in following through. Love that only appears during highlights is not love, it's convenience. Real love stays in the routine and finds meaning there. Effort means choosing the relationship even when temptation exists. Real love doesn't flirt with danger. It doesn't test boundaries just to see how far it can go. It respects the connection enough to protect it. Loyalty is not just physical, it's emotional. When love is real, effort is shown in staying committed in both actions and intentions. As you mature, you stop chasing intensity and start appreciating stability. You realize that real love doesn't drain you, it strengthens you. It doesn't confuse you, it grounds you. It doesn't make you question your worth, it reminds you of it. Effort becomes something you can feel without asking for it. In the end, love is not proven by how deeply someone claims to feel, but by how consistently they show up. Real love doesn't need to convince you. It doesn't need to be defended or explained. When love is real, effort is visible in 1,000 small ways. And those ways quietly but powerfully say, you matter, and I'm here.